Landlords of Ontario, welcome to another episode. Today we're going to dive into something that's very, very, very important and something that we talk to a lot of people about with regards to treating landlording like a business. You know, it's not just a retirement plan like a lot of people think. This is something that is a business. It's like selling t-shirts or running everything else. There are advantages, business credits, tax credits that you have to understand the different ways we can do different things. With a team of specialists, of professionals, working with the right people who understand what you're going through as a landlord, how to best situate you personally in your individual situation. Now, again, as always, today is just a conversation. We're talking to you, we're giving you some information. You want to make sure that you're talking to a specialist in their field, like an accountant that deals with real estate investors all the time, not just your friend, the accountant, right? In my world with real estate, we say everybody knows at least 3 realtors, but if you're buying something that's waterfront or rural property or pre-construction, for example, this is definitely something where you want to have a specialist to work with. Any realtor has the abilities to help Mr. and Mrs. Smith move across town, but when you're getting into something specific, especially with real estate investment, you want to deal with a professional, a specialist that deals with investors and landlords all the time. The example I'll give you right now is if, let's say, you needed heart surgery and your brother was the best brain surgeon in Canada. Would you ask him to operate on your heart, or would you ask him to refer you to the best heart surgeon that he knows? Right? It's the same thing here. We're talking about money. We're talking about your future. We're talking about a lot of things that matter. And too many people, like I said, don't understand all of their options. Sometimes we just know of option A and we don't understand that there's B and C out there. So today we're going to talk to Sylvia Ho. She is a mortgage agent and a landlord for over 20 years now. She's also a financial landlord consultant, which is why we brought her on here today. She combines her experiences as a landlord and mortgage agent to help her clients save money. She lives in Toronto with her husband, Gary, has 2 kids, aged 13 and 11. She loves hockey, Disney, puzzles, and is a Lego fanatic. So, Sylvia, let me ask you straight out, tell myself, tell everybody out there, what is a financial consultant and what do you do?
Yeah, thanks for having me here, Kevin. Financial landlord consultant, bottom line is I'm here to save my clients money. You see, as Canadians, most of our money goes to 2 places. It goes to the income taxes that we pay the government and the interest that we pay the banks. And my goal is to help my landlord clients reduce the interest that they pay the bank and the income taxes that they pay to the government. Now, when I say save, I'm not talking about $10, $100, or $1,000. I'm talking about, or even $10,000. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about saving hundreds of thousands of dollars. So what I do is, let's just give you an example. Let's just say there's a client that makes $300,000 combined as a family. They're at the highest tax bracket, right? And being at the highest tax bracket, they're going to pay $150,000 in income taxes. That's a lot of money. So if I can help this client put back some of that money back into their bank account, now it will allow them to, reach other goals in their life. So my job as a financial landlord consultant is to save my landlord clients money by reducing the interest that they pay the banks and cutting the income taxes that they pay to the government.
That's great. One thing I talk to our clients about all the time is I say, if you make $5,000 a month going to work, and then you have rental income coming in of $3,000 to the government, they don't care everything. You make $8,000 a month in income, right? They don't think about mortgage 1 or mortgage 2 or anything about that. They just think about the money coming in. So that's interesting. So you teach an advanced tax strategy called rental cash damming. Why don't you explain to us what that is, and can anyone apply to use this strategy?
Yeah, so rental cash damming is an advanced tax strategy that helps landlords get paid by the government.
Wait, sorry. You're telling me that us landlords, we can get paid by the government?
Yes, it's crazy, isn't it? So if you apply this strategy properly called rental cash damming, the government will actually start paying you to be a landlord, and they'll pay you in the form of tax refunds. Okay. So this advanced tax strategy is only for landlords who collect rent on a regular basis, right? It's a CRA-approved strategy. So CRA knows about this. They actually, in fact, they approved it over 20 years ago.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, they approved this over 20 years ago, but they keep it on the hush hush because they lose money every single time a landlord applies the strategy.
Interesting. Tell us more.
Yeah. So how this works is that, us middle class individuals, we don't know anything about this because you don't know what to ask if you don't know what it's if it's there, right? So my job as a financial landlord consultant is to tell everybody across Canada what the strategy is all about. So, you know how the norm for Canadians is to put money towards your RSP to save on taxes, right? So that's like a norm here for Canadians as a financial tool, right? Another norm is to put money into TFSA and to save for retirement and all that, right? So for me, I want the norm to be if you're a landlord, you automatically apply the strategy called rental cash damming.
So I see on Facebook all the time. We've been known each other for over a year now, following each other and stuff. And I see these great stories about how you're helping landlords save hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why don't you share us a story right now, if you can?
Sure. Okay, so here's a story of a client. They're a professional couple. They make over $300,000 combined. So it's a doctor and a professional IT individual, and they had a $1 million mortgage, and they're on a 30-year plan to pay off this mortgage. Now, we all know that when you're on a 30-year plan and you have a $1 million mortgage, out of your pocket, you're going to end up paying over $2 million over the life of that mortgage, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So that's a lot of money. So with this particular client, they did everything they could that any Canadian is taught to do, which is, okay, you know what? Instead of paying monthly, I'm going to pay weekly or biweekly accelerated to try to get that amortization down, right? So that you'll go from 30 years down to 26 years. Or you will try to like pick up a part-time job, and any extra money, you're going to dump it towards a mortgage. Or if you get a bonus for work, you're going to dump it towards the mortgage, right? Now, those things work, but they won't really dent that $1 million mortgage by a lot, right? And then for this client, they're like, you know what? We're doing everything we can. And this mortgage is still not really disappearing. It's still a really large debt. So what I've done is I've taught this client the strategy of rental cash damming. So as a financial landlord consultant, I will teach my landlord clients how to properly apply the strategy towards their finances. And now for this particular client, they are super ecstatic. They're literally watching their mortgage, a $1 million mortgage, melt away. And instead of taking 30 years to pay off their mortgage, they're going to only take 18.
Wow, that's awesome, eh? So what would you do? How do you talk to a client? What happens when they first come to you about rental cash damming?
Yeah. So when a client comes to me from about like when a client comes to me and they're like, Sylvia, how does rental cash damming work? Because we've been talking for a bit of time now, and I haven't even told you how rental cash damming works. If you want to learn how rental cash damming works, listen all the way to the end. There's going to be a free gift for all the listeners here. So when a client comes to me and they want to understand rental cash damming, it's a 45-minute chat via Zoom. It's complimentary, doesn't cost you anything. And in this Zoom call, we figure out what your goals are for your life, for your family, for your finances, right? And if one of your goals is to pay off your owner occupied home mortgage earlier than planned, then I'll show you how to do that. If one of your goals is to pay less income taxes because you're at like the $300,000 tax, you're making 300,000, you're at a 50% tax bracket, then I'm going to show you how to do that as well, how to save that money. So literally, when I have a conversation with a client for those 45 minutes, we're going to see how much money they're leaving on the table. And like I said, the money that they're leaving on the table in the way that they're currently running their landlord business is not efficient. So if they apply the specific strategy, they're going to save not just ten thousands of dollars, but hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I love that because I say all the time, as investors, we're as individuals, our fingerprints, and we need to be specific with what individuals' goals and wants are to how they want to do what they want to do. You know, same thing with us. Are you looking to buy one house, or are you looking to get a portfolio of properties when you're thinking about investments? So, how can a landlord of Ontario learn more about your services, Sylvia?
yeah, just go to my website, cashdam.ca. So it's CASHDAM.ca to get more information. On this website, you can get access to a 1 hour free training. And yeah, so just go to my website and you can learn more about how the strategy works.
You mentioned earlier a free gift to our listeners.
Yes, that's right. Okay. So throughout this conversation, we never even talked about how cash damming works. So my free gift to all the listeners here is I'm going to give you a free guide. And in this free guide, it will give you the exact blueprint on how to implement rental cash damming. And how are you going to access this guide? Well, you tell me, Kev, how do clients access this guide?
The link to get the cash damming free guide for landlords is going to be in the bio below, so you can click through that. As well, you can always reach her on her website, www.cashdam.ca. If you can't figure that out and you know how to get a hold of me, do that, and I'll get you to Sylvia. However it is, we'll make sure that our landlords are getting the right information about this strategy for sure.
Bottom line is that if you are a landlord and you're listening to this, you must apply the strategy. It will, your eyes will open up, and a lot of my clients will say, "Are like, why didn't I know about this? Like, why has no one told me about this? Why hasn't my financial planner told me about this? Why hasn't my accountant told me about this?" And it just comes down to is you know what you don't, right? And you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know about it, you can't ask about it, right? So again, as a financial landlord consultant, I'm here to tell everybody about this strategy. It's just so powerful. And in my opinion, if you are not applying this strategy, you are literally leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. So please do connect with me. I'm here to help you out.
I love it. Thank you. Landlords, reach out to Sylvia, figure this out, because like she said, you're not just leaving tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table. At the end of the day, paying taxes is a good thing. It means we're making money, but the goal is to pay the least amount of taxes and keep the most amount in our pockets. Thanks so much for joining us today. Sylvia, thanks so much for sharing some wisdom, and we'll definitely talk to you soon. Bye for now. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this week. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're finding it informative and useful, make sure to like, subscribe, share with a friend so that we can keep getting the information out there to Ontario landlords. And keep on joining us. We'll see you next time.